Rightio, it's Hog Out. It's a live broadcast tonight, and there's a big game happening tonight. I wonder what it could be. Pakistan versus India. There's no bigger fixture than this, and we're going to talk about it and a couple of other games just after the little break here. Just before we get into a few talking points tonight, England fans out there, sorry, Australia beat you again. And the Netherlands, well done to them, nearly knocking off South Africa in the fixture earlier today. And we're talking about the T20 World Cup 2024. Now, before we get into the big fixture of Pakistan and India, there's one game that I want to talk about just quickly before we go to that, and that's Scotland taking on Oman, and that's happening just after this game. This is a big game. Scotland win this, all of a sudden England, who are beaten by Australia, are on the back foot. They're going to be playing Oman and then Namibia. And because Scotland will have a few extra points and they drew because of a washed out game the other night, they got 1 point each, all of a sudden England will start thinking about, right, we might have to go harder at Oman and Namibia. And both of these teams are quite capable of upsetting England on these wickets over in the Caribbean. So this group has got plenty of exciting cricket coming their way. Rightio, we can't waste any more time on Oman and Scotland. It's not a big fixture because the game that we've been waiting for is India versus Pakistan tonight. Now, there are a few talking points that we are going to talk about. Can you get the first one up, please, AK? I want to get that first talking point up on the screen right now. It's the matchup between Virat Kohli and Afridi. Now, this is going to be a huge contest between these two because Virat Kohli has to try and bat deep in this innings with the way that the wicket's playing over in New York, and Afridi has got to make inroads as well. The new ball is important. You get early wickets, all of a sudden England, who've got a fairly deep batting lineup, but are full of all-rounders out the back end, and they do have a reasonably long tail. So if Pakistan can make early inroads, all of a sudden they've got India on the back foot. So Shaheen Afridi has to be full to Virat Kohli, but not too full where he can drive comfortably down the ground, just slightly fuller so it's a little uncomfortable to drive. And if he can just get it outside off stump as well, Virat Kohli playing away from his pad, a little bit of seam movement, he might be able to get the edge through to the keeper or one to cut back in and hit that off stump. Whoever wins that contest, well, they go a long way to winning their setting up their team for a win. Who have we got on for the next contest? And this is the one that I'm really looking forward to. Babar Azam versus Bumrah. Now, Babar Azam hasn't been known for a high strike rate or one of the biggest strike rates in T20 internationals. And this game today is suited for his style of cricket. Again, like Virat Kohli, he has to bat through the innings because there are a few holes in Pakistan's middle order. He's got to be out there at the end, and he's got to take the bulk of Bumrah's bowling because Bumrah is the bee's knees and the one that can really go through this Pakistan batting lineup. So Babar Azam has got a big role there. If he can negate Bumrah's impact and allow the other batsmen to attack the other bowlers that India have got, then Pakistan have a huge chance of winning tonight. Okay, we'll go through to the next talking point, please, AK. Switch her up over. Yep, there we come. These three batters, Babar Azam, Rizwan and Fakhar Zaman. These are the key for Pakistan. There is so much weight on these three players' shoulders that sometimes it's just a little bit too much for Pakistan to deliver. I'm not happy with Imran Khan at number 3. And then the big keeper out the back end there, Azim Khan, I don't rate him either. I think Imad Wasim should come in for Azad Khan, and Uman Khan, he has to lift because they just haven't got depth in their batting. I'm not happy with the back end of Pakistan's batting. So there's a lot on these 3 shoulders tonight. Now, are there any more talking points before we get the 2 guests on, please, AK? Just flick it over one more time. Sanju Samson, is he going to bat tonight? I think he's got to come into the team for India. If we're looking out their lineup tonight, they need extra batsmen. And it's a wicket that is going to be testing batsman against pace bowling. I know there's a lot of talk about Dubey with his improvement in the IPL against pace, but in the last few games, he started to dwindle when there was extra pace on. He started to lose that edge, and I'm a little bit worried about Dubey on this wicket. So Sanju Samson's got to come in for Dubey tonight. That's the only change for India tonight with this big fixture. Now, I don't want to muck around anymore. I want to get straight into the questions. I want to get to the guests. And we've got Aryan wearing the Indian jumper, and we've got Wafi. He's wearing his Bangladesh jumper, but he goes for Pakistan. Now, there's a bit of a contest between these two as well. Over in Bangkok, Aryan got the big wicket of Wafi with a beautiful Yorker. Aryan's telling me that it was a duck, but Wafi's hitting for 360 beforehand. Can we... Has India got on top of Bangladesh and Pakistan here, Wafi, or is Aryan just selling a few porcupines here? It was a good in-swinging Yorker, I know that got you.
I think Pakistan is going to absolutely thrash India today.
There's absolutely no way, no chance that's going to happen. Now, Wafi, just before we get on to this contest tonight, your mob, Bangladesh, beat Sri Lanka the other day. Do you think they can beat South Africa in New York?
I think they've got a pretty good chance because South Africa, the way they won against Netherlands, that's really concerning. On the other hand, Bangladesh, they have got the bowling, I think, has been pretty decent. Rishad Hossain had a turn of 3.4 degrees, which was the highest turn so far in this World Cup. And in batting, it looks like Tauhid Rida is playing really well with the likes of Liton Das and Mahmudullah in the end. So the toss will be vital, but let's hope for the best.
Rightio, no problems. Well, good luck to Bangladesh against South Africa. It would be good for Bangladesh to get through to the Super 8s, but let's not talk about that anymore. Pakistan versus India. Aryan, have you got your first question for me today?
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty crucial aspect in this game, and it'll probably decide the toss will probably decide a lot. But my first question is, what are your thoughts on this New York pitch, and how will it affect today's game?
The New York pitch has been a little controversial, but at the end of the day, we're trying to take the game over to America. We're trying to take it to the Big Apples, so they have to take a risk. For me, I think the pitch is going to play a big part. And the big worry for me is India probably not having the training facilities that Pakistan have had over the last couple of days. I think there's better training facilities in the other side of the country. So that's one advantage to Pakistan. But then just not talking about the pitch, it's the travel. Pakistan have changed their hotel because Sri Lanka the other night had some trouble getting to the venue. So they're in a bit of disarray. So the advantage goes back to India. But for me, this pitch has been a lot of trouble, and it's going to have a huge effect tonight. And I think the team that bats first has a huge advantage, because if you can bowl well in the second innings, no matter what total you got on the board, all of a sudden you can get early wickets and put pressure on the other team. So, yeah, this wicket has been a bit of a problem, and it's been a bit of concern. I've been worried after the first game, actually, on this wicket. And you guys, do you agree with me here? After India played Ireland, I was a bit worried that Pakistan and India should have been moved to another venue, because both teams have got high pace. Both teams will be going hard at each other, and if that ball goes up and down, it could be quite dangerous tonight with both teams. Were either of you concerned about that coming into tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I thought it was whoever. In my thinking, it's whoever bats second would win because we've seen in previous games that the pitch becomes so much easier to bat on in the second innings after the pitch has been used. So I'm thinking that whoever wins the toss would bowl first and would have a much higher chance at winning than the other team.
It is a morning game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 p.m. So the morning game, you're actually right. You're actually right. Thanks for bringing that little point up. So I think it's important that you do bowl first because you will get a little bit more off the pitch. What do you reckon, Wifey, about the pitch? Do you reckon it's a bit of a concern whether we'll get through the game tonight?
It's a huge concern. I think the toss might be the deciding factor, as Aryan mentioned about the bowlers. If the team who bowls first has a high possibility of winning the game, and I think that we have seen Sri Lanka, South Africa, and South Africa, Netherlands, both the oppositions, and also India, Ireland. We have seen all of the oppositions being bowled out for the highest was I think 103 or 104, something like that. So this shows that when you have some total like 104, 105 in the board, even if you lose wickets, eventually you will get to the target. So yes, bowling first would be the best way to approach this game.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. The only thing is South Africa versus the Netherlands. South Africa were 4 for 12, I think it was. They'd lost four quick wickets, and they were very lucky to get through. So that's also in the back of the mind of captains. I just want to go to Anupam Dev Burman. Thank you very much for joining us here again. With England losing to Australia, you beauty. Can we expect Scotland to push England out of the Super 8? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, Anupam. Now, we'll go back to Wifey. Wifey, what's your question for us tonight, please?
My first question was actually about the toss, but I think we have answered that already. Now, I would like to address about Azam Khan. As you mentioned before that Imad Wasim should go instead of Azam Khan. Do you feel like fitness is a major issue here in terms of Azam Khan's form?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a difficult one because at the end of the day, you're trying to produce athletes that are playing the international game. He might be a power hitter, that's fine.
Yeah.
But when you get to international level and you're playing on a wicket like you are tonight, when you can't move as nimbly as someone who's not as heavy in the body, and I don't say that lightly. I don't want to show disrespect or anything like that. But you've got to present yourself like an international cricketer. You can't present yourself like that. And also keeping behind the stumps, it's quite difficult on those tight moments. So if something goes down the leg side and he doesn't take it like a Risman would, all of a sudden he's costing his team there. So for me, he's got to be removed from the team for Imad Wasim tonight. If that's not the case, I just think it's not a good message for future cricketers in Pakistan because the game's changing. Fielding is an important aspect. Running between the wickets is an important aspect. If you watch David Warner today or last night, wherever you are in the world, he went for a single and had to dive in the crease and the ball went past the stumps down to deep third man. He was up straight away, ready to take on the second run. Quick, nimble, athletic.
Yeah.
Those little moments, that's what you want to see with your team. And also in the field, he's quick, he's sharp, he's all around the contest. And you look at the difference between the two keepers tonight. You're going to see the athletic one who's a gymnast behind the stumps, and then you're going to see one that can't move behind the stumps. So there's a huge difference there between Pant and Azim Khan behind the stumps as well, and that could play a big part. So for me,
I think Mohammad Rizwan would be behind the stumps.
Yeah, exactly right. He's got to be behind the stumps. Now, before we get to you, Aryan, for the next question, Arjun, how are you going? Why not Jaswell? Is it specific for USA leg? Arjun, I like Jaswell, but I just think for the balance of India's team over here in this World Cup, I don't think he should be in your starting 11. You've got to stick with Kohli and Rohit Sharma out the top. I wasn't really happy with Jaswell's form in the IPL. When I say that, I just felt like he was overhitting the ball. He was leaning back. He wasn't timing it as well as what we saw in the Test series just before that IPL. And I just think the way that he was setting up to play his brand of T20 cricket would not be ideal in this format over in the T20 World Cup out at the moment. I think he's got a little bit of work to do on his technique and get back to the Jaswell of old. I know I've been a bit hard on there, Arjun, but I like where you're coming from. He's a talent moving forward. It's good that he's in the squad, but I just don't think he should be in that 11 now. I think Sanju Samson in the middle order will strengthen it and give India what they need tonight. Now, Aryan, what's your next question, please?
Before we get into that, I wanted to add a comment onto the Azam Khan situation, where it also links to issues players like Ishan Kishan and Rishabh Pant had experienced early in their career. They also experienced similar issues to that, where they were not agile enough being a keeper, and then they were left out of the India squad, and then they had to physically improve, and then they were brought back. So maybe it's something that Azam Khan can look to for inspiration.
Yeah. Who's the other one that you said other than Patel?
I said Ishan Kishan.
Ishan Kishan. I think Prithvi Shaw can be put in there as well. Prithvi Shaw, talented player, but he's rocked up to the Delhi Daredevils or Delhi Capitals this year.
Yeah.
Not fully fit. So see how old I am. I still remember them as the Delhi Daredevils. Can't have that. Can't have that. Delhi Capitals. All right. What's your question there, Aryan?
So I think we've spoken about this a bit. But what would be your lineup for India today? So what changes would you make from the previous game against Ireland?
For me, I'd just have Sanju Samson come in, and I'd have him lining up out number 3. But I'd be wary of that. And as I talk about that, I think it might be worth still keeping Pant out 3 because he bats differently to everyone else. He's a bit of an enigma where he'll take the bowling on. He'll hit you in different parts. So for me, Rishabh Pant comes in out 3. I might even bring Sanju Samson in out 4 and drop Sky down 1 because I think Sky would be better on these type of wickets, a little bit lower in the batting order. That's the only change I would have.
So would that mean leaving out Rishabh Pant for this game?
No, Rishabh Pant's out 3. So how would I have it? Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, Sanju Samson out 4.
So
Sky coming in out 5. Shivam Dubey is out. Hardik Pandya still 6. Jadeja, Aksa Patel, Bumrah, Singh, and Siraj. And basically, you back down to number 8. But when you get to Jasprit Bumrah and Arshdeep Singh as well as Siraj, you're in a lot of trouble there. You're not going to make too many runs. The one thing that I'm worried about, you've got a lot of depth there, but with Pakistan's bowling attack, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher than what they faced the other night. And I think you'll find that Hardik Pandya, Jadeja, and Aksa Patel might struggle a bit against this pace attack on this wicket. That's the only concern for me for India. Going into this game. It's a good question.
Yeah, I think Rishabh Pant at 3 will be crucial because on this wicket, I think left-right hand combinations and rotating the strike will be crucial as a key to success.
Yep, definitely. And I think that's why you can't have Azim Khan in there as well, because if he can't rotate the strike, run hard between the wickets, that could cost you out the back end. Wafi, you've got one more question, and then I'll get one on the side here from the comments. Yep.
Yeah, do you feel like Naseem Shah would be the trump card of Pakistan in today's game? Because he is fiery, pacey, and he has bowled really well against India last time they faced. in the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, I really like this kid. I love him. I saw him over here in Australia live, and I just like what I see. He just delivers with pace, and he's got good line and length as well. I think out of all the Pakistan bowlers, he's probably my favourite, the one that I'd go to a lot. I think the other bowlers, I'm worried about Harris Ralph tonight, actually, in a sense that he might get excited on this quicker wicket. I think they've got to calm down. All their pace attack has to sit there and go, right, there's a lot in this wicket. Let's hit a good length top of off. We can't go full, looking for that extra swing, trying to beat the bat on the inside edge and get those LBWs. You've got to be on a good length, because if you're over pitched, all of a sudden it's easy timing. But if you get it on that good length, it's very hard to hit through the line of the ball with the side movement this pitch is offering. And also it's hard to hit down the ground off that good length as well. And you don't want to be too short for too long, because if you go short as well, it gives that horizontal bat shot a bit of a go as well. And again, with that up and down bounce that we've seen on the New York pitch, a top edge will fly over the keeper. So there's a bit of a chance that it will sail for six because of the extra pace that both teams have tonight. So Pakistan, I think they've got a wonderful bowling lineup. And one thing I do like, which might trouble India, is they've got two left armers in Amir as well as Afridi, just able to move that ball into the right-handers, but they're very classy as well, moving it across the right-hander with that straightaway.
I think Mahmoud Amir would be a really good matchup with Virat Kohli, because Mahmoud Amir has dismissed Virat Kohli several times in the past, and after a long time, Amir would be bowling to Kohli, so bringing back the old nightmares.
Yeah, I want Rolf to fit.
Harry, you popped out there. I don't think India, after the super over the other day against the USA, the way that Amir bowled, I don't think the Indian top order will be too worried about Amir. Actually, that's a bit cheeky for Pakistan fans out there. Sorry about that.
I think that the USA loss, that was probably Pakistan was overwhelmed by the way USA played. USA showed real determination, courage, and put the pressure on Pakistan all the time. And also, Pakistan is such a team that starts really poor in the World Cup. We've seen their loss to Zimbabwe last time, but they eventually went to the final. So, yeah, I believe Pakistan will come back stronger than ever today against India.
I don't think they rocked up either. I was disappointed with the way they played. Babar Azam blamed the bowlers out the end of the day, but his innings wasn't too good in the power play as well. So he's got to take a bit of responsibility there.
No, I've seen people blaming Babar Azam, but the thing is, the way wickets were falling, Babar didn't have any other choice but to play that anchor role. If Fakhar Zaman, I thought Fakhar Zaman's innings was really crucial in that period, and the way he got out was really poor. If he could have stayed and supported Babar Azam, Babar could have increased the strike, because we know how big of a batsman Babar Azam is in the whole cricketing world.
Yeah. Aryan, don't shake your head. Babar Azam's a good bat. I think Fakhar Zaman in that situation.
Aryan, if he shakes his head. The thing is, Kohli scored just one run against Ireland, and Babar Azam scored 43.
Pakistan lost to America and India beat Ireland. Pakistan has got no wins, and if India beats Pakistan tonight, Pakistan is at a risk of getting knocked out of the Super 8.
Yes,
of the group stage.
Good point there. Good point there.
Yeah, we'll see that.
All right, guys, I'll just got to go to Vivan Segal. How you going? Are you aware that Aryan Wafi, me, and a couple of others are playing a game against another school tomorrow? Please wish us luck. Now, guys, good luck tomorrow, but I think Wafi's got to work on his batting after Arya's bowling with Yorker. So, we'll see how you go tonight. Who are you playing tomorrow?
We're playing like another international school in Bangkok.
Right,
so it's our school against another school.
Right, that'll be good. Do you think
No,
you beat them?
the thing is, Vivan is always asking questions that are not related to what we are discussing about.
Rightio, well, Vivan's got one here. Do you believe that Kuldeep Yadav should come in for Jadeja? I believe that he has much bigger asset, and quite frankly, the Pakistan players cannot read his lengths. Now, Vivan, I like what you're saying. If it was another wicket, if you're over in the Caribbean, yes, but not here in New York. The pitch there is a little up and down, suits pace, but also I like the left arm off spin options of Jadeja and Axar Patel. But you also need that depth in batting for this particular venue. So I'd go with those two particular players. Both of them get a little bit of extra bounce as well. So if they can't get to the pitch of the ball and they want to play the sweep shots, those two will get a bit of extra bounce there as well. So that's why I'd go with those two. Vivan, that's a very, very good question. Rightio, Arim, we're going back to you.
Okay, so my next question, I think we've spoken about this a bit. My next question is going to be the shock of USA defeating Pakistan, but I think Wafi will cry if we speak more on that. So my question would be, what would players have to change in their play style to match the conditions offered in this World Cup?
Yeah, we talked about the pace bowlers from Pakistan just hitting a good length and trying not to get overexcited and go full, try and get that ball to swing. The ball's still going to swing, but if you over pitch, it's going to be easy to drive. So that's one area that Pakistan have got to work on, and don't get excited and try and bowl too many short balls as well. No, there's extra pace there, but that will play in India's favour. When it comes to batting, you've just got to be patient, and when the bowler does full or short or gives you a little bit of width, you've got to pounce on it and make the most of those loose balls. If you don't, then you're going to pay the price. For me, it's good running between the wickets as well, and that's where I think India have got the advantage. I think they're quicker, more athletic between the wickets, so they'll take the advantage there. And I think when it comes to spin as well, it's just good line of lengths where you're attacking the leg stump rather than the off stump. And if you're attacking that leg stump, the batsman is not quite sure whether the odd one turns or not. And if the odd one turns and you're playing the wrong line, that's where you come into those wicket-taking options. And that's why I'd go for the off spinner rather than the leg spinner over there, because both of them got a little bit of extra height than Kuldeep. And Shadib Khan tonight, for him, Pakistan have got to make sure that he doesn't bowl to Pant or Surya Kumar Yadav. I think both of those batsmen against Shadib Khan tonight, and even Ahmad Wasem, I think that will be crucial as well. What do you think, Wafi?
I think the four pieces are enough for the Indian batting lineup. I think Mohammad Amir, Shaheen, Naseem, and Haris Rauf. I think if India gets 3 wickets lost in the power play, then I think it's a Pakistan's game.
Pakistan's game, right? Yeah. Conserving wickets in the power play is crucial tonight. I think if we look quickly, you lose early wickets here at New York, then it makes it hard to make it up out the back end. So
yeah, I think that has been the problem, because as I mentioned before, in this pitch, if you lose too many wickets, if you have something like 80 or 100 in the board, even though if you bowl well, even like yesterday, South Africa was 12 for 4, but eventually you will reach the target. So it's very important to make sure you don't lose wickets in this pitch.
But I think if India, like even if they bat first, for example, I think in the second innings they can still cause many issues to Pakistan if Arshdeep and Bumrah and even Siraj, if these three can get at least 2-3 wickets in the power play, I think Pakistan will be under lots of pressure, and they're chasing against India. I think it's more like I feel Pakistan will be under pressure chasing against India if they lose 2-3 early wickets because of their depth in batting.
Definitely. Now, I'll better go to Kushal Bardwaj here. I hope I've said that right. Hoggy, your player who is going to be trump card of the match player to watch out for this match? For me, it's going to be for me it's going to be Pant from India and Nazim Shah from Pakistan. So those are the two players that are going to be my trump cards and the players to watch out for tonight. Wafi, I'll go to you. Who do you think will be the trump cards tonight?
In the bowling, definitely Naseem Shah. But since we're expecting most of the bowlers to do well in this pitch, I think Babar Azam's innings, especially Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, their nature is mostly to defend. And this kind of pitch, you need to play a sensible knock instead of going to hit all the time.
Yep.
I think that's what Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma will be very crucial at doing in the opening partnership. And if they're able to build a very long opening partnership, India will have high chance of success.
In this case, I think Pakistan is ahead of India because the thing is, Rohit Sharma, we have seen him doing one thing as hitting every possible ball in the last World Cup as well as in the match against Ireland. He's trying to attack and take on the bowlers, but I think against Pakistan, if they try to do it, if Pakistan doesn't drop a catch, then Rohit Sharma would be
There's a high chance of that.
Rohit Sharma would be done quite quickly.
I agree with both of you. Just before we go to your final questions, there's one here. What is the global issue of this tournament? This is from Ukatarish Bulgaria. Is he one of yours as well?
Yeah.
Yep. I actually like this question. I think the biggest issue of this tournament will be the wickets. I think even in the West Indies, they're playing differently than what we would have expected in a T20 tournament. But in saying that, I've quite enjoyed the nature of the wickets because what they've done, they've brought the associate nations closer to the test playing nations and have caused a bit of a stir as well. So the associate nations have been able to play well on these particular wickets. The test playing nations have struggled to be able to adapt. I think the other issue that we've got with this particular tournament is that teams like Australia, England, not so much England, New Zealand, and even India haven't been able to prepare as well as they'd like. Sri Lanka can fit in there as well because they've had the IPL and it's been a short turnaround from the IPL to a T20 World Cup. But in saying that, players should be aware of this. Players are in the new world of cricket and they should be able to prepare and make sure they are ready for a T20 World Cup tournament.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was seeing Nuwan Tushara's press conference after the Bangladesh match, and he mentioned that they were supposed to play against US, but instead Bangladesh played against US, and they say that is why they couldn't prepare. I mean, going into the World Cup, you need to be ready for any challenges that comes in. So you cannot give excuse of the pitch because it is as it is. So you need, as a good cricketer, you need to be, and this was expected. It's a drop-in pitch, and the way Nassau County has developed in just 6 months, that's incredible. Like that is beyond imagination. Seeing cricket in New York and in just 6 months, the way the stadium has been constructed, that's unbelievable.
I feel like these drop-in pitches, feel like they need more time to develop and settle in because it's become too unpredictable and at times even dangerous for the batsman. So I think that maybe IC might have rushed in a bit too early into entering the new market of America, and instead they should have waited some more time to let the pitches to settle in and develop so that it is not as unpredictable as it is right now.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there, Arian, but then it comes to the ICC because they knew that this tournament was going to happen sooner than later over in America. Yeah. They wanted to make inroads there. They've already got a big history of dropping wickets around the globe, how they react early on. So probably they should have been making these dropping wickets a lot earlier. Maybe even had them over the other end of the other side of the country. playing on certain surfaces over there so that they had more grounds that they could play on over there. So these wickets could have been used over the last 2 years, and then bring them across the country, which would have been a big exercise. But at least those wickets would have been better prepared and ready to go in this World Cup. But I think I'm glad that they've pulled the cord and said, we've got to go to America, we've got to expand the game, because the second biggest viewership of cricket in the world is from the USA. So the quicker we get the game there, so the quicker we get the game there, the better it is. So even though the wicket in New York is not the best, I think the move is probably a great move. I think the only thing, thinking about it, looking at the 4s and 6s that have been hit in New York, and especially with America with baseball, I think that's the only issue that we've got from the spectacle so far. Not enough balls being hit out of the park like I would expect to see in baseball.
I think ICC has been pretty successful in launching cricket in US, because I was seeing that in the commentary they have included a baseball. I don't know if he's a player or someone, but I've seen someone from baseball coming and watching cricket and explaining cricket in terms of baseball terms, because that is what they are used to. And also I've seen that cricket is gradually, people are knowing about cricket in US, especially after US's win over Pakistan.
Yep. No, I think that's a good initiative. You've got someone there who's got a sport that's very similar to Australia. To cricket, in commentary, giving expert comments about how Americans can understand the game, relating it to baseball. And I think if you're going to educate a new market, you've got to do that. So it's great. I think there's one aspect that I think I'd like to see after this is cricket going into some of the colleges, especially in the areas where cricket is now. If they can get cricket in those colleges, all of a sudden you're developing potentially the next generation of cricketers coming through. And most of those cricketers are going to be expats for a start, but gradually you'll pick up American-born players that will end up playing for USA. So that will be a good thing. I think there's a big market and there's a big upside over there. Now, Arian, have you got another question for me?
Yes. So, okay, this is more of an overall tournament question. So, what would be your Super 8, your then semifinals, and then your finals prediction for this World Cup?
Rightio. Let me get up the points table here, if I can, up here. So the Super 8s for me, in Group A, it will be India.
And Ireland. Sorry.
No, Ireland won't be going through. I reckon the USA might sneak through there. I think that'll be a big thing for cricket. Disappointing for Pakistan. When you go into Group B, Australia and Scotland at the moment are my favourites. I think if Scotland win tomorrow, it's going to be very hard for England to get in there. And England were very lucky that they got washed out against Scotland, because I think they were just taking the game away from England. And that wicket over there at that time would have been tough for England, especially for the first game that they're playing. I don't think they were ready for that tough contest. Group C, Afghanistan and the West Indies will go through there. I think New Zealand looked unprepared the other night, and I think they are going to be in a little bit of trouble. And then in Group D, this is the one that I'm a little bit uncertain with here. Wafi, where are Bangladesh playing the Netherlands?
West Indies, I think. I'm not sure, but in West Indies somewhere.
In the West Indies. It's going to be a bit of a slow turning wicket over there probably. Yeah. So I'll go for Bangladesh. I think Bangladesh, after beating Sri Lanka the other night, they'll go through with Sri Lanka. And then when we go to the finals...
they're playing in Kingstown.
Yep. So, Bangladesh will win that game. I think when it comes to the finals... I think Australia will get through. I think India will definitely get through. and then I think Afghanistan will get through, and I think the West Indies will get through. I think that will be my
through
final
the
four.
semifinals. Oh,
Yep, through into the semi-finals. So
I
I
think
think
if USA can overcome the group stages, USA can do wonders. I think so. Because
yep.
But it's still going to be really hard for USA to go through because Pakistan, the last time also they lost against Zimbabwe, but eventually they went on to play the finals. So, but if USA can go through, I think USA they might fancy their chances, even though the matches in West Indies would be different to the matches in US.
Yeah, definitely. I think Afghanistan have got their biggest chance to win a T20
Yeah,
World Cup
I
on
think
those
yes,
West
yes,
Indies.
that's probably gonna be the biggest chance for Afghanistan because the West Indian
yeah.
pitch is slow and turning, and Afghanistan has the best spinners in the world.
Rightio. Yep, exactly right. They do. I'm just going to go to Rafi here. He says, please, sir, explain us clearly about the pitch of today's match. We don't know much about dropping wickets, so I say you talk about it. Thanks, Rafi. Look, dropping wickets. So I think South Australia here in Australia has the best wicket that you could probably have in world cricket at the moment. There's just enough there for the seam bowlers. There's enough there for the spinners, and the ball comes onto the bat as well. Where batsmen, if they get in the line with the ball, they can get good value for shots. So that is an ideal cricket wicket over there. But what happens with your drop-in wickets? They get pulled out after the summer. They go and get put somewhere else, and then they're looked after there. Then they're brought back to the ground and placed in there. So I've looked at the one with Optus Stadium. There's soil that sits underneath the actual pad that's on there. That soil is there to try and grab the roots of the grass. So there's little holes out the bottom of the tray for the roots of the grass, of the turf, of the pitch to try and connect in there. Once they connect in there, then all of a sudden the grass can grow a lot easier. So it becomes a lot healthier. And that process can take just a week or two. So it's a very quick process. And then when they take the dropping wickets out, they've got a little wire that goes down underneath and cuts through those roots, and they take it out and plant it on the outside, and those roots connect to the soil out there to make sure that the grass rejuvenates. So there's a bit of a risk there, but it's very scientific. So that's how that happens with the drop-in wicket. But with the Optus Stadium wicket that we've got here in Perth, it's taken probably a couple of years for it to settle down and be a wicket that has that West Australian flavour with the pace and bounce. But there's still a bit of a risk there. Every now and then you get a wicket that's up and down, and it can get a little bit hairy on some occasions. And there was one game where it happened last year like that. So when you look at that New York wicket, those wickets look very fresh. They're not even a year old. And that's why the wicket is not playing evenly like you see with other drop-in wickets around the globe. So it's just the lack of preparation or the lack of time that it's had in the box, and also out the venue, being able to have those roots latching onto the soil underneath. That's caused a little bit of up and down movement. So, and I'm not a greenleaf person, but that's the lessons that I've learned from groundskeepers around that have dealt with these pitches. That's a really good question. All right. Whose turn is it to ask me a question? I think it's Wifey's.
Yeah. Do you think
Yep.
batsmen should bat as deep as possible and take their time in New York pitch? Since I think 120 can be a pretty decent score as well to defend.
Definitely. I think each you have batsmen, and it goes back to Arian's question earlier too. Different roles, how people would play on there. I think you look at Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli's there to bat through the innings, a bit like Babar Azam. Rohit Sharma, he's going to go after the bowling with Pant and Sky. Yep.
Sky.
So they'll play different roles. So I think certain batsmen go after the bowling. Different other batsmen play that conservative role and try and be there at the end. So if Virat Kohli loses his wicket early, then you bring Pant in, be aggressive. If Pant goes early, then have Sanju Samson come in. But if there's a good partnership and you get to the 10th over and you lose your second wicket, then bring Sky in, Pandya in, then maybe Jadeja in, and then have Sanju Samson coming out the back end so that you sort of keep that momentum going. And Pakistan might play that same role as well. Pakistan have got to make sure Fakhar Zaman is in there for at least 8 overs. If he can be in there for 8 overs, he's going to do most of the damage for Pakistan.
Yeah, this is the reason why I think Pakistan might have upper hand, because Indian batsmen coming from a run fest of IPL, they still have that tendency to go for every balls. And I think against Ireland, if we see the approach of Rohit Sharma, as I mentioned before, is attack, and also that's what Kohli tried to do. So if Pakistan gets few wickets down, because I'm not seeing anyone in this Indian squad that is playing that anchoring role or that role of probably defending, blocking out, and probably playing like test, like ODI cricket, which is more often seen in Babar Azam's batting or in Mohammad Rizwan's batting. So this is an area where I feel like if Pakistan can grab those chances, they have a really good chance of knocking India out today.
Yeah,
I think Virat Kohli is more known for being anchor and playing throughout tennis than Babar Azam. And you mentioned Sanju Samson, but I feel like he's been given opportunities to play for India team previously, and he just hasn't taken those opportunities. And I feel like he didn't play the game against Ireland. I don't think they should play him against Pakistan, because this would be his first T20 game and is already under pressure to take those opportunities he's been given. So I would be more inclined to stick with the lineup India played against Ireland, and if they win, then to just keep this lineup and keep the momentum going throughout the rest of the tournament.
Yep, no, I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you in that, because I think the first 11 that you pick, you should try and keep that 11 for the whole tournament. I totally agree with you on that aspect, and I can't disagree with you on keeping Dubé in there because he's played that first game and the pressure on Sanju Samson. Yeah, but I'd still prefer to have Sanju Samson in there just for that balance. So very good point. I love it. Kim Mitchell, how are you going? That's good to see you join us. Arian, have you got another question for us? We've only got a couple of minutes left.
I think I asked all my questions.
Yep. Wifey, have you got any more?
My last question was, do you think this game could have been played in Texas instead of New York?
I would have liked to have it been played in Texas. I just think they're trying to make a big announcement in New York. I think there's a lot of hype there, and there's no bigger game that you can have other than India.
But have you seen the Nepal crowd in Texas? The Netherlands players said that they were feeling like they were playing in Kathmandu instead of Texas. So Texas also have a huge fan base, and we also saw that in Bangladesh Sri Lanka game as well yesterday.
Yeah, no,
but
exactly right.
Exactly right. I think that with the fixturing of the India-Pakistan match in New York, if the pitch curators and groundsmen do not know how the pitch is going to play, ICC would not know how the pitch is going to play. So it was just a matter of just trying to expand the market into New York without knowing how the pitch is going to turn out.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think, I just think you're taking it into a new market, and I think you had to go for New York. And from what I've heard, tickets have all sold out, and they've sold for a big price in New York. So, the ICC are taking a risk there. And I think if you're going to promote the game somewhere, you try and have the biggest two nations that are going to play. You've already seen as you've mentioned there back in Texas, that you've got the following there. Right, so let's create another bit of following over the other side of the country. So good observations there, guys. Anything you want to ask me before we head off and get ready for the big game tonight?
What's your prediction of the first inning score if India bats first?
First inning score tonight,
150.
150. I reckon
150,
I reckon 143.
I reckon 90.
90.
Yeah.
Rightio, guys. So, Aryan, you're going for India tonight. And Offie's going for Pakistan. Offie, Pakistan or Bangladesh, who would you rather get into the Super 8s?
Bangladesh, not Pakistan.
Yeah, there we go. Your true colours are coming through. Hang on, just quickly, Vivan, he's gone. One final question. Are you aware that you are the third oldest player to play in a T20 World Cup? Third oldest?
I told him that.
Oh, well. Yeah. No, I wouldn't even have a clue. I wouldn't. Someone asked me about my first international wicket the other day. I can't even remember who that was. So, yeah, no, that's good observation there, Vivan. All right, so we've got Aryan going for India, Ify going for Pakistan tonight, and for me, I think India are going to be too good for Pakistan. Sorry, Ify. Now, you two, you've got a game of cricket tomorrow. Okay, I want to hear how you guys went. Okay, so you let us know how you guys went in that game of cricket. Thanks very much for joining us, guys, on HOGGOUT. Now, you guys enjoyed tonight's game. Let's have a little bit of fun, and I'll see you next week for another live HOGGOUT. There's plenty of international T20 World Cup action happening, and there'll be plenty to talk about at the end of next week as well. See you then.